So this is 12 strings. I'm on my 115 Shadowknight. I'm doing a quest. If I can find it, why aren't they showing up? Oh, here we are. No? There's been some lag, 89 milliseconds. This might be it. I'm doing a quest from Sky Shrine, one of the partisan quests. I need to kill 8 sirens in Cobalt Scar. I've killed 3. This is my revised setup. Let's see what we have here. Let's get this. A lot of it is very standard with my prior setup. These are my aggro control buttons for the most part. Also, here's Unending Acrimony. These are combat abilities that I don't really use anywhere else, so I trigger them through here. I have 2 spell sets that I generally memorize. One is my DPS spell set. That's what I have here. I use that when I'm not doing heavy tanking. And the other is my tanking spell set. I also have, like pull up pet, pull up insidious, and I will have more spell sets as we go along. But in my DPS spell set, I have 5 essential dots, and they're done in this way. I cast the dot, and then I set a timer that will go off just before the dot expires. And I don't really need that anymore because of the way I'm doing this. So I also activate Vicious Bite of Chaos and Chattering Bones when they're up. Vicious Bite of Chaos gives me mana. Chattering Bones sends 4 pets. And I don't tend to use Chattering Bones for any other purpose, like the off tank or something. If that happened, then I might have to start changing how I'm doing it. So what I'm trying to do is use the various abilities that I have as a Shadow Knight without having to think about them constantly. So that's how I've set up my dots, and it's pretty much the same, like if I've done Chattering Bones, then I have obviously Pet Swarm, might go after another mob. It makes sure I'm targeting the right thing. And each of these dots are set to pop up from the timer just before the dot expires. Protest for Power, that is set to remind me to recast that so that I can get the armor buff. This bar here is a combination of spells and abilities that I like to use on an as they are available basis. Thwart is the primary one. That's the one that triggers my synergy. Impertinent Influence is got a nice proc effect. And so I tend to cast that whenever it's up. And the reason, so that'll be up, and it has damages the target, returns 100% of the damage's health, and increases your pet's damage, heals the group. I mean, it's just fantastic. And so this can be up more than 25% of the time. It's good for 2 minutes. It can be done every 7.5 minutes. Rather than forget about it or not have the benefit of this, I have this set to go off whenever it's up. Impertinent Influence. Then we have Rending Blade. Rending Blade just as extra damage. and it refreshes every minute. And rather than try and remember every minute to cast it or put it in a separate mash button, I just have it here, and anytime I hit my middle mouse key, it's going to trigger the next spell in this line, but it's also going to knock over these. Thwart, of course, synergy, want to do that. Let's see, what do we have here? Veil of Darkness. Refreshes every 5 minutes. It's one of those things I'm not going to think about, so here's a little extra hate, and it reduces their accuracy for 30 seconds. In an ideal world, this might be something that I would individually trigger, but I forget about it. And this is Reflexes Resentment. Let's check that out. 3 slashing damages, stealing their essence to heal the group. So again, this is one that individually you might rather trigger it at the right time. I tend to forget about it. I don't want to waste the fact that I can get a little extra damage, so it goes into the pile here. And let's take a look. So that's every 10 minutes. That really ideally would be one that's triggered separately, but I just want to use it, and I tended to not use it. Then diplomatic papers, they refresh every 5 minutes. Why not use it and save yourself a little bit of damage? This is something I could save, or I could put Dustbringer's Chest Guard. That comes up every 5 minutes. Because of the way these work, really one of those can go in. Heals you for 15%. Let's explain this. This is 50,000. This is more powerful, so I save that. This is less powerful. I use it as a throwaway. You know, might as well use it. It's not a big deal. This is 1%, but this is worth keeping in my lineup for when I need tanking. Then I have these set up, and because, okay, this doesn't matter, but here's Shield Flash, Deflection. I have Stop Disc here. Why do I have Stop Disc? Because I might have Impertinent Influence or some other disc running, for instance, Unholy Aura or Leech Curse, when I need my deflection power. This will switch me from two-handed slash to my tanking mode, stop any disc I've got running, and hit deflection, and it'll also pull the mob to me, and I'll let the group know, hey, I'm stepped up. Let's see. Armor of Experience is just an AA. Spite of Morella. It's another lesser defensive disc. These are generally, from here out, they become more powerful defensive things that I can use. So I got Spite, Cursed Guardian, and then this is Carapace, very similar to my Deflection. It puts me into tank mode, and Mantle. Then I have Reaver's Bargain, which you can use individually, or you can pair it with a disc, because Reaver's Bargain is an AA, not a disc. Purity of Death, if I see that I've been hit with Restless Ice or something, I'll hit that. Hopefully I'll have a Cleric going. And then 3 defensive items that I can use. Let's see. My attack button, you know, immediately it'll either, if I don't have an X target 1 yet, I will attack whatever I've targeted. Otherwise, it'll go to the first mob on my X target window list. Tack on, Pet Attack, Pet Swarm, and Encroaching Darkness. So I'm doing a lot. Melee Burn. This is going to be using my Epic, and then a variety of discs and AAs to help me do some additional damage. Spell Burn is similar in that it's going to be a variety of discs to help me do additional damage. Skin. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is for my tanking mode, so I'm only going to hit this once when I'm in DPS mode. If I'm in tank mode, I would hit it up to 3 times, and it would do different spells. And then it'll give me a timer for when I would think I might want to refresh skin. So this is a spell that has more purposes when I'm in tank mode. My pull button, I think every Shadowknight's very familiar with this. Leech Touch, Thought Leech, I use those. I try to use them more often than not. I don't want them necessarily on cooldown, but if I'm low on mana, I'm going to hit Thought Leech. If I'm low on health, I'll hit Leech Touch. My pet Diagro, back off, feign, summon. Very standard. I always have Invis in slot 0. I always have feign or Death Piece or Fade or whatever your get out of combat key is in the equal slot. So for all of my classes that I play, these are going to be similar. Death Effigy. And then a combination of just, stuff that I use. Visage of Death, I believe, is triggered here. I'll use Voice of Soul. That tends to conflict with certain things, I think. 45 AAs, you know what that is. That's when I need extra, when I need to glyph. Rest the Dead for pulling, Harm Shield. I don't use it often. Encroaching Darkness. When I want to do a single cast. Scored Shin. Okay, these are my various tank modes. Two-handed slash. Well, it's not two-handed slash anymore. I think it's two-handed blunt. I don't know what it is. It's whatever it is. That's my two-handed tanking, shield, and single weapon. And then consternation is divine invulnerability tanking. I don't do that much anymore. It used to be something that Shadow Knights could pull out. So all this is pretty clear. I generally pull with Protest for Power, attack, get some aggro built up, start hitting my dots. So pull out Terror, and Vulak's Bite for mana. It's a little early for that, but I tend to use Vulak's Bite on cooldown. It's very helpful. So I'm throwing out here some dots. Go. Thwart down. Tap up. I'm hitting my middle mouse key for everything over here for the most part. You'll get a spell. If the spell bar is cool, you hit it a second time, you're going to get a disc or an AA. Two-handed slash. Refresh some of my dots. You wait until spell bar lights up before you hit the second die. Okay, it's 11%. I'm not going to refresh dots anymore. I might refresh skin while I'm just sitting here. And so there we are. And we're at 93% mana after that. And let's just check and see what our DPS is. Icy Mimic, 293,284 DPS. That's decent. It's not great, but it's decent. For a non-DPS class, it's probably pretty good. So Protest for Power. Let's get one of our, let's hit attack. Hit a tear. Protest for Power. We've got Protest for Power recourse up, which is why we do this. Make sure our terrors are going off to get the buff that takes about 10. There, it's procced. We've got our little buff here. Hit my mid mouse key. Get Thwart down for the synergy. The bite because I'm keeping my mana up as much as I possible. Now I'll just individually do some taps. And let's see, we'll refresh one last time. Now I'm done dotting on this mob. We'll get some tap up. And so we've got 4 of the 8 mobs we need. And we're at 88% power. I'm going to hit Spell Burn just to do my epic. Bite down. Now, I generally, if I get down to 75% or so, 70%, I'll hit Thought Leech. Probably more like 65, 70%. Might hit skin and refresh it. So we're up to 90% mana. And I'm doing 5 dots at all times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Spear. Let's tap up. Gonna keep monitoring, make sure I didn't get an ad. Use one of the little clickies that I never use. Some taps. Thwart down. Protest. Mortal Coil is going, and refreshed Mortal Coil. Don't see any more sirens right around here. Ah, here's one. This is the water. I have to make sure that my stuff is hitting her. And here we are. Back up to 83 something percent. Tap up. Thwart.